welcome to the podcast. Today we are talking about something a lot of students deal with every day, smoking in the area campus. I'm here with Jacob. Thanks for joining.
No problem, happy to be here. This is actually a topic I have strong feelings about.
Some here. So let's start simple. Do you think smoking should be allowed on campus?
Honestly, I don't think it should be allowed everywhere. I mean, I understand some people smoke to relax between classes, but campus is a public space, and not everyone wants to breathe in second smoke.
That's a good point. I've noticed a lot of smoking spots are right next to walking path. So even a smoker and up walking through the smoke.
Exactly. And it's not just about the smell. Secondhand smoke is actually dangerous. Some of our classmates have asthma or other health issues, and that smoke can trigger problem for them.
Right. Health should be really come first. What do you think the campus should be do about it?
I think they should create designated smoking area, like a specific spot far from classroom and walking path. That's why smoker still have a place to smoke, but it doesn't bother other students.
That's unfair. Some university I've read about even have smoke free zone with clear time and fine if people don't follow the rules.
Yeah, I think stricter rules would help. Right now, it feels like there's no clear policy, so people just smoke whenever they want, near the canteen, near the parking lot, even near the entrance.
That's true. I've seen that too. What about the health risk etiquette? Do you think students are aware of them?
Honestly, I don't think so. A lot of students know smoking is a bad health in general, but they don't really think about how it affects the people around them. It's not just their own lungs, it's everyone nearby.
That's really important point. Do you smoke yourself? If you don't mind asking.
No, I don't, but I have friends who smoke, and I've talked to them about it. Some of them actually agree that campus needs better rules. They just want a proper place instead of hiding around corners.
That makes sense. It's a really anti-smoker thing. It's more about respecting self-space.
Exactly. I'm not saying smokers are bad people. I just think everyone, smokers and non-smokers, deserve a healthy and comfortable environment to study in.
I completely agree. If I could give one suggestion, it's the campus should also put up poster of campaign about the effect of secondhand smoke, so people understand why the rules matter.
That's a great idea. Education is probably more effective than just a punishment.
Well, so to wrap up this topic, smoking in campus area is self-responsibility. We need clear rules, design area, and more awareness so students can study in health environment.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for having me to talk about this.
Alright everyone, that's for the topic. Stay with us because next we are going to talk about something completely different. Our opinion about the Indonesian police. Hey guys, welcome back for this segment. I invite Nilam Salesiana. to talk about the topic, the effect all of us citizens, our opinion about Indonesian police. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. This is a topic people usually have mixed opinions about.
Definitely, let's start with the basics. What your general impression of the police in Indonesia?
I think it's mixed picture, honestly. There are a lot of dedicated officers who really try to help the community. But there are also cases that make people lose trust, like corruption or unfair treatment.
That's true. I think a lot of people opinions are shaped by news stories about goods and bad have. You even have a personal experience with the police.
Yes, actually, once my motorbike was stolen and I reported it to the local police station. They were actually quite helpful and patient, even though they couldn't recover the bike in the end. That experience gave me a more positive view.
That's good to hear. Not every story negative. What about the traffic police? A lot of students have opinion about that.
Oh, definitely. I think traffic police sometimes get a bad reputation because of stories about unofficial fines on the road. It's frustrating when people feel like they're being targeted instead of helped.
I have a similar story from the spread. Do you think these widespread problems are just an individual?
I think it's not the whole institution. It's more about a few individuals who don't follow proper procedures. But because the stories spread fast on social media, it affects how people see the police in general.
That makes sense. Social media really shapes public opinion nowadays. What do you think the police or will improve their image?
I think transparency is key. If there's an investigation into misconduct, the results should be made public. Also, more community engagement, like police visiting schools or neighborhoods, just to build trust, not just to influence rules.
That's a great suggestion. I also think better planning on how to communicate with the public would help. Sometimes it's not what they do, it's how they talk to people.
Exactly. Communication style matters a lot. A polite approach makes people feel respected, even during a difficult situation like getting a ticket.
Like, on a positive note, what do you think the police do?
I think during emergencies like natural disasters or accidents, Indonesian police are actually quite responsive. I've seen them help evacuate people and manage traffic during floods, for example.
That's a good point. We should forget the positive contribution. It's easy to focus on the negative story.
True, like any luck in situation, there are good and bad sides. I think as citizens, we should support the good work and also speak up when something is wrong. So the situation can improve.
Well said. I think that balance view is important. Appreciating what's good, while still asking accountability what is new.
Exactly. That's basically my opinion in nutshell.
Thank you for watching. See you to next video. Bye. Welcome back to the podcast. The next topic is something every student thinks about. What happens after we graduate? I'm here with Salsabila Putri Amanda and to talk about future plan. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. I'm excited to talk about this. It's something I think about a lot lately.
Let's just jump right in. What's your plan after you graduate from university?
Well, my main plan right now is to find a job related to my major. I want to gain some real work experience first before deciding on anything bigger, like start like starting a business or going for a master.
That's a solid plan. What kind of job are you hoping to get?
I'm hop I'm hoping to work in communication. I've done an internship in this pilot before, and I really enjoyed it. So I want to continue building my career there.
That's great. Does you already have some experience? Do you have a specific company or type of company in mind?
Not a specific company, not a specific company yet, but I did love to work at a company that focus on something relevant. I also wouldn't mind starting at a smaller company first, just to learn as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a smart approach. Starting small to build a strong foundation. What about long-term goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Uh, in 5 years, I hope to have a stable career, maybe in a leadership or specialist role. I'd also like to continue learning, maybe take some certification related to my file.
That sounds like a well thought of plan. Are you considered future student like a master's degree?
Actually, yes, I'm thinking about continuing my studies eventually, but not immediately after graduating. I want to work for a couple of years first, save some money, and figure out actually what I want to specialize in.
That makes sense. Work experience can really help you decide what do you study future. What about outside of career and your personal growth?
Definitely, I want to become more independent, maybe move to a different city for work. I also want to keep improving my English since it's really useful in almost every job now.
I totally agree. English skills open a lot of doors. Are you worried about anything related after graduation?
A little bit, yeah. The job market can be competitive, and sometimes I worry I won't find the right opportunity right away. But I try to stay positive and keep improving my skill while I'm still studying.
That's a healthy mindset. Do you have any advice for other students who are also thinking about the future plan?
I'd say start early. Don't wait until graduation to think about what you want. Try internship, join organizations, build your network. All of the really helps when your job hunting later.
That's really valuable advice. I think a lot of us listening can relate to the pressure of not knowing exactly what's next.
For sure, but I think as long as we keep working towards something, even small steps, it will turn out fine.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your plans with us today.
Thanks for having me. That was a nice topic to add on.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being one of my guests. All right, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye. Hi guys, welcome back to the final segment of today's podcast. This is a bit of more personal. I'm going to talk about why I'm taking the remedial test. Joining me is Rehan Alfiansa. Thanks for being here for this one too.
Of course, I'm curious to hear your reason actually.
Well, to be honest, I took the remedial test because uh, I missed some requirements and I want to improve my score. It was really about not understanding the material. It was more about being busy with other things.
That's understandable. A lot of students go through similar situation. Do you think the remedial system is fair?
Actually, being a good opportunity instead of the falling without a second chance, the remedial project will let's prove the actually learn the material in different format.
That makes sense. This podcast format is actually pretty creative for an English conversation class.
Agree. Because actually speak naturally instead the memorizing okay for the writing test. What do you think about the junior project like instead of normal exam?
Honestly, I think it's more effective speaking with a real person like we're doing right now. Feels more natural than writing answer on paper. It also builds confidence.
Exactly. And it let's go in a way. Even though it takes more preparation and planning it to record everything properly.
So, from what I understand, you have to plan for different topics with for different guests, right?
Yes,
That does sound like a lot of coordination. Do you think this experience taught you anything beyond just English skills?
actually yes, without this some project management skill too. Planning schedule and problem solving plus obviously it was me to practice speaking English more confidently, which was the whole point to the media in the first place.
Well, I think you did a great job extra all the topics today.
Thank you so much and thank you for being one of my guests for this project. Alright everyone, the wrap up our topic of today for today podcast, smoking on campus, opinion about Indonesian police, plans after graduation, and finally why I took the remedial test. Thanks for the listening and see you the next time. Bye bye.